do, we're going to discuss Blue Devil, and we're going to discuss Lucas, and we're going to discuss some other additives since that's the thing that came up, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'll just keep you talking about additives. We can go through the Smoky story.
We can still do the smoking story about additives. Hello, everybody, or nobody, or Shop Mom and me. This is an impromptu happy hour. Happy Friday the 13th. Don't be scared to ask questions. Impromptu?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Impromptu.
So we're just going to wait till some people come in the room and talk amongst ourselves. We have had questions already on additives. So we might talk sealers, block sealers, oil sealers, all kinds of sealers. I don't know what else we can talk about.
Hi, Hola.
Hola. Hello, Wade. This is like, from Hawaii. So, well, you're blessed to be in Hawaii. So,
Yeah, not jelly, not jelly.
not jelly at all. But hello from Texas. So I'll have to focusing on the camera and not down here or.
Yeah, you don't need to be reading anything. I'll tell you if there's anything you need to see. What you want to do is let's go ahead and kick off the conversation since we had a question regarding additives, those being Lucas Stockley and Blue Devil.
Okay, so we'll start off. This is just the question that answered anything automotive. I would prefer machine shop questions, engine questions, camshaft questions, wires, cams going flat, lifters, what's in oil, not oils, but it doesn't matter. You can ask me about the weather. It doesn't mean that you're going to get a proper answer from me about the weather, but Shop Mom is here, so she'll probably tell you about the weather. But we've had questions about leak stop. And this is the Lucas brand. That was a question specifically, what do I think of the Lucas brand leak stop? And for the most part, a lot of oil additives are, you could say snake oil. A lot of them are. That was one of the questions that I had. That was the question I had for Smoke Unique when I met Smoke Unique, was about oil additives. But specific to the question that we're talking about right now is the Lucas leak stop. This stuff works. It's not snake oil. It's the real deal. In fact, I have a specific story, or we use, I don't want to say we use this. A lot of people come in here on an LS, and LSs have a lot of problems. They have a lot of oiling issues. One of the problems with an LS oiling issue is that the oil pump is not submerged in oil. It's now mounted on the front of the crankshaft, so the oil pump does not even sit in oil, and there's a long tube that goes down to the bottom. After around 80,000 miles, that O-ring on the tube will dry up, and then you'll start having, in the morning when you start it, it'll knock for a little bit, it'll tick, the lifters will tick, and then it goes away. It loses its prime overnight because air gets in there, and it has to suck oil all the way up the tube every time because of an $8 O-ring. We can get into that O-ring repair, and a lot of times the problem starts after it's been rebuilt. There's 3 different O-rings. You want to use the black one, the blue one, the green one. Is you have a square tube, you have a round tube. There's a lot of different problems that you may not even have to begin with. So what do I suggest? I suggest you go to the dealer, give them your VIN number, and get an O-ring that fits your vehicle. We'll buy a Melling pump, and Melling's one of the best pumps, or an aftermarket pump. And the problem right there may be, and it was the original, some of the problems they were having was the wrong O-ring for the application. Like I said, even GM changed from a square tube. The tube is round, but the groove in it is square. Instead of having a round groove, there's a different O-ring for that. So we can understand now how there's a problem when, how do you know what year you have? Did your GM have the square groove tube? Did your GM have the round groove tube? If you're building an LS from a junkyard, for salvage yard, you put it into your car, then even more so you don't know. What if you bought an aftermarket oil pan? What if you bought an aftermarket oil pickup? So you can see how there's a problem just in getting the right O-ring for that. But all that being said, the original problem that LS started having, first of all, that we see a lot of is that little O-ring. I have not sold an oil pump to a person who walked in our shop in 8 years. I have the same oil pump in the shelf up front in my case. I'm not a good marketing guy because I could sell a lot of oil pumps. Everybody comes in here, I got an LS and I want to buy an oil pump. And the first thing I ask, what, you know, and I go through the whole thing and I said, it's not your oil pump. It is not. I don't want to dampen anybody's oil pump sales because they sell a lot of LS oil pumps. You can almost invest in mailing just because how many oil pumps are sold for an LS. And not one that's come in through here has needed a new oil pump. It's not the oil pump's problem or its fault. Leave the oil pump alone. So it's the O-ring dries up, we have a problem. So I'll go with a story because I got time and I can tell a story. A customer, we did a set of LS cylinder heads. So we did a set of LS cylinder heads for his vet. He did not have a Z06 vet. We did heads and a head combination with the camshaft combination. Put it on the dyno, man, it ran awesome. It made all kinds of power. Put it in the car. He decides after that, you know what, I'm gonna add a supercharger on top of it. Buys a supercharger, has that put on the car. It's pretty invasive on a vet. Has all that done, and a week or two later, he comes in here and I'm asking, well, what's wrong? He looked all bummed out. He says, my mechanic tells me you gotta pull the engine out. Now, you gotta pull the engine out. What do you gotta pull the engine out for? Oh, it needs an oil pump. Started having this little tick, tick, tick when it first started up. All this money he has into it the whole time. He did the cylinder heads, he did the cam swap, he did the supercharger all in the vehicle. So he paid a lot of money to have all this labor in a vet. It's not real easy to get into it to put a supercharger on it. He goes, yep, he's telling me how many thousands of dollars he needs to put an oil pump on his motor. And I tell him the story I just told you. It's not the oil pump fault. Well, putting an oil pump ain't gonna make a difference. But everybody wants to put an oil pump, put an oil pump, put an oil pump. He goes, what is the problem? I explained to him it's the O-ring, just like I explained to you. He goes, so what do? I said, Lucas, right here. He said, you want me to put, you know, it's not, this is a snake hole. This is a seal stopper, so it actually conditions. Doesn't that sound better than saying swelling? It swells the seals. Well, that just doesn't sound very good. It conditions the seals so not to not leak. So it actually does swell the seals, and that little seal just dries up just enough to start sucking in air. So it'll swell up just enough, boom, done. And he says, you want me to put snake oil in my Corvette? Beautiful vet. He's an extra Marine. He's got Marine logos on it, beautiful wheels, tires, everything on this vet is just fine. He never even has any dust on it. And he wants me to, he goes, you want me to put that in my car? You really, I ain't doing it. Because I got that much money on this engine and I ain't doing that in my engine. I said, okay, well, fine. Then throw some more money at it for O-ring, and your mechanic already told you it's an oil pump. And it's not, but go right ahead. And he's like, I said, look, buy this here, and if it doesn't work, I'll give you your money back. I don't make any money selling this. I mean, what do we make, Shop Mom? We make 50 cents, 80 cents selling one of these. I said, it's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to sell you something. I said, and why would I tell you? I don't have any invested in interest in Lucas. I mean, I don't have any stocks in, you know, there ain't no reason that I need to sell this besides take care of my customer. And I told him, I said, why would I tell you I'll give you your money back? What's it going to cost you? $12? If in a week you don't like it, you're going to put an oil pump in it anyway. I said, it's a win-win for you. It's not a win-win for me. I'm going to give you money back for some Lucas that, it doesn't tell you here that they'll give you your money back. I'm saying that. Anyway, it worked. He came back in here and said, I can't believe it. So this stuff does work. One of the main things, we sell a lot of this, and I could be selling a lot more engines or a lot more oil pumps. On an LS, this takes care of the LS problems just pretty much almost all the time. It ain't gonna fix the bad lifter or the cylinder cancellation. This doesn't fix, you know, corporate headquarters, no. But it does fix the oiling problem with the LS being the O-ring. All right, I think that was good question. I don't know, I think it's good questions. I'm critiquing myself. Hey, no one else is talking to me. So the other question was on Red Devil's sealer.
No. Blue Devil.
Blue Devil, well, okay. It's the Red Devil that we like. That's the sealer for the cylinder head gaskets. And I'm not into a bunch of chemical stuff. Like, I used to always joke, it's a mechanic in a can. I got a little joke. A customer came into our shop. I've been in business my whole life, and it's a family business. And the customer comes in and he asked one of the guys on the counter, my engine is missing a little bit. It's got a little problem. Can you come out and listen to it? He goes out there and listens to it. He comes back, and this is a true story too. He comes back and he says, yeah, your engine's low on vacuum. And the guy's looking through all of our, you know, shelving with all our chemicals. He said, what are you looking for? 'Cause I'm looking for that can of vacuum. Yep, you can't fix that. You just can't fix that. Of course, our joke was we said you stole him any can, and when he opened it, he said, "Oh, he let all the vacuum out." Well, anyway, that's a true story.
That is a true
That
story.
is a true
I
story.
remember that story.
I'm waiting for Terry because I ain't having any beer because it's early. This was an improv. We had a lot of questions. I've been doing some streaming in the back on a flathead Ford, showing you how sensitive cylinders are to heat, and the stress level that's put on them by a cylinder head. So I've been doing videos kind of every day, just showing you how long I've been honing on this thing for 2 weeks. So it's a little early. We just decided, you know what? We've had a lot of questions. Why don't we go live? I also want to bring up, it'd be a perfect time to bring up August 27th. If you haven't entered, it's your own fault. Jan fan right there. If you were here on our live stream with Faye, you have to. All you got to do is take a picture. You don't even have to do a video. Do a short video. Take a picture of your fan, or make a little. Like I said, a picture or a video of why you need a fan. And it's not very hard. If you walk into any shop that walk into my shop, not anymore because I have a Jan fan, but my mom's shop, anybody shop, we don't use automotive. We use any fan you get from Walmart or Home Depot or wherever. I'm not knocking Walmart or Home Depot. One day they may be a sponsor. That's not why I'm doing this. But we use house fans. You tell me if I'm wrong. Anybody tell me I'm wrong? We use house fans in our shop. That's just what we do. How many industrial fans that are out there that are making them? There's not a lot of people. Jan fans are the real deal. They make shop fans. And by shop fans, I mean when they make a fan that you can easily pull 4 clips, pull the cover off to clean it, that's a fan that's made to be used in a dirty environment. It's a shop fan. You get to get one. You don't get to get one. You have a chance of getting one. So log on, Jan fan. You go to the website, submit a picture with the story. We're gonna pick the most person.
No,
Nope,
we are not.
We're not picking. We're just.
No, Jan fan
is
going
picking.
to make the determination as who's the most deserving of the new fan based on the submissions. And if you recall, those of you who were there were a number of submissions that happened right from the get-go. So there's a lot of interest. Get your entry in there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And the deadline is August 27th is when we say who the winner is. I don't know the deadline. Ask Shop Mom or go to Jan Fan. They have all the. It's real simple. It is really, really simple. And someone's going to get a chance to get a brand new fan on Jan Fan. All right, this wasn't a Jan Fan commercial, but just want to give you that update there. So we've talked about Lucas Block
If
Sealer.
we're going to do commercials, can I do one really quickly?
You most definitely can.
So those of you who saw the viewing party from High Cider last weekend, which we attended for Faye to support Faye, want to let you know that they're having a grand opening of their food truck tonight for anybody who's local who has the opportunity to go by. I just want to say from the get-go, I'm not a seafood person, so when I found out the name of the truck was Mud Bugs, I immediately put my nose up in the air and said, I don't like seafood. And I made sure to let everybody know that I don't like seafood. Danny, in his wisdom, ordered some to go before we went home, and I have to tell you, that man knows his stuff.
Not me.
Excellent food. As I said, don't like seafood, but his shrimp po' boy was outstanding. Probably had the best salad I've ever had. And so, just kind of as my mea culpa, I just want to say I was wrong. I watched a lot of Food Network. I should have never been such a snot about it. And if you're local and you get the chance to go by and support that young man, this would be a good thing to do.
It's a great venue out here in the Hill Country off of 290, going through Johnson City. It's a beautiful drive, great venue, all outdoors. So there's actually social distancing. You got the tables out there, a big screen, a different room outside with a cover top that I guess y'all could rent, or looks like an outdoor bar. The bathrooms were awesome. I actually did a live stream out of the bathroom.
Okay, but tell the truth.
Nope.
You'd had quite a bit of their wine that just had you really impressed with that.
All right, and even though I did have quite a bit of their wine, which they have, they don't serve. What do? They just do
They do it, they
a
call it.
cider. It's
Yes, they call it a Kreiser.
It's a
Yes.
Kreiser, so they don't serve beer. They just serve their. But all that being said, I'm like, well, it's evening. We like to have wine. They have an awesome wine. We had 2 bottles, so it was really awesome. Anyway, great venue, great wine, great people. The owner, she's awesome. The food truck's out there. Tonight's the grand opening of the food truck. Great venue. If you ever want to have a party and you want to do it outdoors, there's a lot of times right now, what are you going to do? So anyway, that all being said, I don't know what's next. Okay. Tom is here. Hey, Tom, glad you could make it. Still waiting for Terry, so I'm not having any beer because it's a little early. But I am drinking water, staying hydrated in Texas. So what else? We've talked about sealers. We can talk about anything. You have a chance now to ask anything automotive. Like I said, if I don't know it, I'll make it up. So, we'll just play it by ear. Sammy's here.
Yeah, Sammy's here.
We missed him for a while.
Jessica is here, and Wade is here, and Lon is here, and it's
Jackie's
a
here.
small, intimate group, but it's fun.
Yes. That's all right. That's okay. That's okay, and that's all right.
Okay, anybody have any questions, go ahead and type them in now, otherwise Danny's just gonna continue speaking extemporaneously, and God knows where we will end up.
It could not be good.
It might be fun.
Or it might be fun. Any subject, pick a subject. Okay.
No, don't pick any subject.
Do you want to talk about interesting news on the Smoky front?
Oh, you know what? Yeah, Jessica said she misses speaking about Smokey, and of course, we all know that that's one of your favorite subjects.
Yes, and Jessica's been doing really awesome. She's now the trim master, and I'm already noticing that you're at a great place because you're getting to do a lot of stuff, and your boss seems to be really cool to the point of being real ease on your learning. Not if you do something wrong, you break something, that you're never going to touch anything like that again. I've watched what you've been doing, and it's like, God, this is great. It's like school that you're getting paid for. You're really good on doing the trim, so now they're starting to pick the trim. Give it to her, which is all right. You'll find a good shop will find what each person's strong point is, and give them that. So you're already an asset to the shop already. So anyway, I just think I always follow you, and you're doing really good.
Okay, a couple of questions.
Mhm.
Wade, we'll get to yours in just a minute, but EJ ProMods would like to know, have you ever measured bore or honed with coolant flowing in the block?
I have not. Smokey did. Smokey actually made a contraption to put coolant and flow hot coolant around the cylinder. Here's the deal. All that is fine, but if you're going to do something like that, go all the way or don't even go there. And the reason being, you have to throw out everything you've learned from beforehand. The clearances that's on that piston, on that sheet, that comes with that, all those clearances have all been figured out by honing it cold. You do have heat from the stone. That's why you have honing oil to keep it cool. But all of that has been calculated. So if you decide, you know what, I'm going to go above and beyond and run coolant around my cylinders so that everything can expand and be at the right temperatures, go ahead and now, if you're there, you're going to have to figure out what the expansion rate is at that temperature. So in other words, don't use the same clearance. You'll have problems. You will have problems. Smokey did dabble into that, and that's what, but he was not your average character. So the clearances aren't going to be the same. An example is a forged piston that takes 5,000 clearance. You're a pro mod guy, you run forged pistons. There are a lot of clearances. We run some of those motors at 11,000 clearance in the bore if it's a boosted motor. Throw all that out the door, and you're going to have to figure out what the proper clearance is. For all you know, when you're preheating everything up, you may only be at 1,000 clearance. So that's the thing. Is it's neat to think outside the box, but it's a different measurements. So you're going to have to rechange everything. So for the most part, that's why you pick a quality JE, Aries, any Ross piston, any of those good pistons. They're going to give you what the clearance that they want is. That's all done at an average around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. So in our shop, it's air conditioned and it's climate controlled. I've done some of this video on other videos. They're just showing you, I'll take a laser and I'll shoot a laser. And you're thinking, why are you doing that to a flat? It doesn't matter. I can run out to the shop right now and bring you the little sheet that comes with the pistons. And it says right on it, at 70 degrees. Okay, most shops aren't at 70 degrees. The average you want to be 74, 76 degrees. But you want the piston, the micrometer, the hone, everything in that same environment. So all those numbers have all been calculated at a certain temperature. So if your shop is not air conditioned and your shop is 80 degrees, the difference from 76 to 80 degrees probably not that much, but everything does change. That's why a skilled machinist can do stuff in his garage at home with a old FN Boring bar and do just as good as the guy who has a Rottler FJ79, but because he already knows what works for him, what works with that temperature. It's all very crucial. If you're just getting started, you want a temperature controlled environment, but you don't need to. You can compensate for everything. I would say 80% of the shops out there probably are not temperature controlled. All the high-end shops are. I can guarantee you they are. But all of the mom and pops, and there's a million shops out there that are not. When I grew up, our shop was not temperature controlled. It was temperature controlled. It was hot. So, all right. So that answers the question on have I personally run hot coolant around there. And I was younger, I tried all kinds of different stuff, and I was gonna try that, but I haven't done that. I do put a torque plate on, and I do even have different opinions on torque plates. It's changed. 8 years ago when we started here, it was we got a different answer from the manufacturer of torque plates, which I didn't agree on for 20 years, 10 years. I thought, if I'm going to go to the time and the trouble and the expense to put a torque plate on a motor, I want that torque plate to simulate what's being torqued on it. Okay, everybody made steel torque plates. That's all there was. Well, we started doing aluminum cylinder heads. I'm like, well, why aren't we using an aluminum torque plate? Well, no one makes an aluminum torque. That's not what I asked. Why aren't we using an aluminum torque plate? Why do I want to put a steel plate this big, BHJ thick old plate on my motor, but I'm putting an aluminum head on it? So I didn't really fall. I've been a lot of times, I have to just use my own judgment, and even though the industry leaders are saying, nope, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. As 8 years, I don't know how many times Shop Mama's Con, I keep, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, in my opinion. But who am I? I didn't go to college. I don't have any degree to tell me.
Hey, I thought you went to orientation.
I did go to orientation, and I did pass orientation, and I did, I've been to college. Yes, I have been to college. So, but the point is, what are we seeing in the industry now? You know what industry leaders were telling me? Aluminum is just easier to put off and on, easier on your technician's back, but it makes no difference. I've been starting to see lately a lot more aluminum torque plates. Now everybody has a CNC machine, so in their garage they're a machinist, which is awesome because that's lowered the price to torque plates. Everybody and their mother now can take a head gasket and water jet it out or CNC, and there's a lot of torque plates out right now on the internet. So it's easier to make it out of aluminum. I get that, but I'm starting to see some of the high-end people that really are building a lot of horsepower. I'm starting to see this kind of a thing about an aluminum torque plate on an aluminum head, a steel torque plate on a steel-headed motor. So I have played with torque on a torque plate, and that will make a big difference. So
I knew you were playing.
Well, I was playing. So if I'm going to use, if there's only have a steel torque plate, but they're putting an aluminum head on it, I won't torque it as much as what a cast iron head would be. So, but that's all. Everybody has a different opinion, and like I said, everybody. Until I think still reason the answer is it doesn't make a difference. But for 20 years I thought it made a difference. What do I know? So all right, that's
okay. There's also a couple of questions. Well, first of all, Sammy wants to know. Says it's a really weird question, but can a hot vapor engine backfire? And then Wade and Tom are both asking about what progress there is on the horizon.
Okay, like the horizon, like later on in the future, or the car?
Off in the distance, yes.
Because they're both later on in the future. No, I'm just okay. Essentially, it can backfire, but Smokey took care of that problem with the one-way check valve. So there wasn't a problem with that at all. There's other people that are vaporizing fuel, and that's a danger zone. If you were to take a gas tank, that's why vaporizing fuel is such a plus. If you were to take a gas tank and you were to fill it with gas, open up the top and throw a match in it, it would just turn the match off. There's just nothing going to happen. The only way that we're going to have combustion is with oxygen. Now, if we were to take that same gas tank, pour all the fuel out of it, don't even think of putting a match even close to it, or you got a bomb, because all that oxygen is giving fuel to that fuel. It's giving air to the fuel. So now we're going to have proper combustion. So we're going to take that liquid, we're going to turn it into a gas, and we're going to add a lot of oxygen to it. An oxyacetylene torch without the oxygen is just the heating bud at the end of it. When you push that pure oxygen, that's what cuts. That's when the BTUs just go extremely high and you have a lot of energy. So when you add a lot of oxygen to it, that's when it's boom. So vaporizing fuel is very volatile. A lot of people that are vaporizing fuel at home, trying to do all kinds of ways to vaporize fuel, are blowing themselves up, and you got to be careful. So what would be some things that you wouldn't want to do? Don't vaporize more fuel than you can use on demand. Does that make sense? Vaporize the fuel right at the point of where it needs it, and don't do more. You're not going to store vaporized fuel. You can, but that's not a good thing. So there is a one-way check valve built into Smokey's. That was one of his patents, into his vapor system that keeps that from happening. Could it still happen? It hasn't. I've run them for a while and hadn't had any problem. I haven't even heard of any issues with that being a problem with the hot vapor engine. What's the outcome? I have a lot of video that I shot and I haven't put together for a YouTube video. YouTube videos actually take quite a bit of time to edit, but that's no excuse. I could turn the camera on at home and do a live stream there at home. If you want to see a live stream at home and the updates of the hot vapor engine, first hit the like and subscribe button. Let me know. Maybe we'll set this up at the home shop and do a live stream there at the house. But the car's up on the lift right now. It had been parked for a long time. It has 9,000 original miles on it. And so far, what have we done? We've located brand new high-speed radials for it. We have them. We've stripped the tires and wheels off. We've glass beaded the rims. We've painted the rims. We've mounted the tires. I have video and all that. I got to just put together on an update. I don't know if it's too cheesy and you don't want to see an update of tires being blasted and mounted and so on and so forth. And then we've done the brakes from rear to front. That's all on video as well if you want to see how to do brakes on a Plymouth Horizon or just the update. Once again, let me know what y'all want to see. I don't want to bore y'all to death by a Plymouth Horizon brake job.
Isn't it an Omni?
It's an Omni, a Plymouth Horizon. It's actually a Plymouth Horizon.
Oh, okay.
A Chrysler Omni Plymouth Horizon, but it's a Plymouth Horizon.
And Tom says he thinks he did read about a backfire.
And okay, so maybe there was a backfire.
He said maybe it's in a photo montage.
Okay.
Tom's very knowledgeable on this, you guys. Tom's done a lot of reading, and I have to say this, even though we're related, quick disclaimer, I have never known anyone who was able to digest a new subject matter in the manner that Tom has been able to do. I just say, that's really impressive. Everybody should learn new stuff. You can't teach an old dog new tricks.
Yes, he's taken all of the stuff that I've had forever, a document, a page, a photocopy, an actual thing from John DeLorean's table, desk. He's taken everything and put it in chronological order, and then he's even found stuff it's like all we need is a name of somebody that was in the room, and then we'll trace down, well, who was that guy? Where is he? He's still alive. Who did he know? Who did he have breakfast with? Did he talk to somebody? Did he take a picture? He's gotten black and white photos of some of the engineers that they personally took. We've been able to have lunch with an engineer that was actually emissions engineer. So taking everything, put it all in the right order. I think it's going to be a documentary one day, because we have actually, when you put dates and times together with contracts and you see the history of this, the full deal. He's done it all, put it all in there and found, and we're still working on it. He's still working on it. And just any little bit, like I said, if we find somebody that says, "Oh, I work for Smokey," and we find out, tons of research later and phone calls and everything else, and no, you smoked a cigar outside and you lived in Daytona Beach, Florida, but that's what that story led to. It doesn't matter if we have a story or something that might lead to something, and we have met some interesting people. A lot of them, like I said, everybody. If you ask Smokey a story, you ask Smokey a question, and it was a silly, I don't want to say stupid question, he'll give you a silly answer. So some of the people, to give them credit, he asked Smokey exactly a question, but it was a silly question. He could have been the editor for Car and Driver. He could have been somebody that knew automotive editing. Well, Smokey thought that was pretty stupid that you didn't know about that, and he already had given that interview, and he's already given that info out there, and you're going to come waste his time and ask him the same question again with the same stuff about, didn't I hear this? If it's already been done, Smokey would give you an answer, and it might be just to get you gone. So the facts are that person may have asked Smokey this, and Smokey may have said, yes, the oil pump was upside down, and it was to the left, and it was to the right, because he knew you're just wasting his time. So, like I said, the facts are he may have talked to him, and that may have been the answer he got. So we got to go through those people and those things, but we're not taking anything for granted. So one little story. Anybody out there, somebody that knows something, let us know. Back to the car. It's up on the lift. We've done the brakes from front to back. Everything new. The tires are on it, back on. The rims are done. Now we're working on the fuel system. So we can't put the hot vapor engine back into that car with old gas, old fuel pump. So we're actually, Shop Mom's already found, we've got it at home already, the fuel pump. Well, we're waiting for the tank to come in. And we're going to do from the front to the back, all new fuel system. The engine's at home, and I've actually pulled the camshaft out of the engine, and it's taken a couple of months, and I built the cam doctor so that we can actually put the cam on the cam doctor and get the specs from the cam. Everybody wants to know what the cam specs are, and everybody thinks, you're just stringing us along or whatever. You know what? Go somewhere else, and because somebody else is giving you free info on the hot vapor stuff. What I'm trying not to do is giving you my opinions and giving you actual facts. There's a lot of guys on YouTube who are taking a blueprint, a drawing, and then drawing a lot of little funny pictures, and, oh, I'm a thermal engineer, and look, 1 + 1 = 2, and it always equals 2, and everybody's all like, oh, that engineer or whoever clown is, and I've even spoke with them, sent a message, you know what, you're dissecting a patent drawing. We have the actual engine. If you want to, collaborate and do some actual dissecting on some real hands-on, I can touch this. This is real. Then I welcome you. I welcome questions. But if you want to dissect the drawing and then tell everybody in the world that Smokey Unit's hot vapor engine didn't work, and then I've even said, that's not very cool. Like I said, if you have a question, let's get this out and get some data on there. And he actually said, effing the family, And I'm like, whoa, hey, easy, buddy there. You know what? Smokey can't speak for himself, so I just want to make sure if I read something or see something and I have a fact on it, I'm going to go in there and go, hey, this is the fact. You got that wrong. This is the fact. Smokey can't defend himself. And he doubled down on it. And at that point, I stopped all communication with that clown, because he makes a lot of money doing debunk videos. Oh, this bottle doesn't hold water. Look, somebody says it holds water. And, oh, man, everybody gets all happy because he got an accent and, I can do pretty drawings on a paper. I actually took architectural drafting. I can draw really, really well. So I can do a whole bunch of drawings and say, oh, water. I don't know what they're talking about, water. That water could be liquid, but it can also, turn into steam. It can be don't sit there and think you know everything. So anyway, I'm getting a little sidetracked, am I? I get a little riled up with there, didn't I? Okay,
You
so
always do.
settle down. So anyway, so how's it going? We're gonna put it on their facts. Facts. I got opinions. I just gave you an opinion of this clown, you know, but the facts is so when we have them.
You should disparage clowns that way.
Oh well, we like clowns. Some people like clowns more than other people like. There's a place for clowns, for entertainment, and that's what he has. An entertainment. Like I said, he debunks dirt. He debunks this, that, and the other. Everything you. If y'all have watched any of my videos and watching my stuff, I'm also on Facebook. A lot of times I put stuff on Facebook that I don't put anywhere else. Not because I like Facebook, just because it's easier, just real quick and stuff. I'm not going there. We're not going into what platform you want to use. But we built a compressed air engine. It's compressed air supercharger. Do y'all know what compressed air supercharger is? I didn't finish on the hot vapor stuff, but it's new technology. It's not new technology. See that? It's new technology. No, it's not new technology. Mickey Thompson did this a long time ago. A lot of people have tried this. And do y'all want to know what compressed air supercharging is? The reason I even thought about that because he has a video debunking that too. And go watch the video of the car going down the track. Yeah. Oh, it don't work. It don't work. You know. Do you want to know what that is all about or not all about? I don't know. Somebody tell me something or stop me. Please stop me.
Yeah, that's what you want. You want somebody to stop.
I'm going to tell you to stop me. I'll get a beer. Don't make me get a beer. It's not too early in Texas. But we'll have some water.
I think that's the speaker saying it's time to call it a day.
Is it the speaker time to say call it a day? We still got not quite 30 minutes.
Okay.
I want to go into compressed air supercharging because I brought it up. And no one is saying stop the man. I was talking about camshafts and what do we do? We did I had to build a cam doctor. Do you know what a cam doctor is? You didn't know cams were sick, did you? You didn't know they needed a doctor. Okay, so it's just a contraption to be able to quickly, right? It takes forever to be able to check the lift and the duration of a camshaft. Actually map out a camshaft. That's the proper way. So we put a camshaft on there. We can map it out. We can check the overlap, the duration from all that on there. I've had to build it. I can build stuff a lot quicker than I can write code or do the electronics of it. It's working. I did it. That could be a video. If you'd like to see how to build a cam doctor, hit the like and subscribe. Leave me a message. Tell me, hey, I want to see this cam doctor you're talking about. Or say, no, I don't ever want to see a cam doctor and I want to do a video on it. All right. So.
Okay, but people now want to know about the compressed air supercharged engine because you brought it up.
Well, who brought that up? It's a good idea. Well, let's talk about the compressed air supercharger. All right. So.
Yeah, Tom wants to know what progress there is on the Camaro, and maybe you want to start by letting folks know that they're so far have only run 7 pounds of boost and have got what are the times on that?
It's run a 459 so far in the 8th. So compressed air supercharging, it is on Instagram. You can go on Instagram. There's 3 videos of it. The first 2 are actually just shakedowns. The first, it's all naturally aspirated. I don't know if you've seen the video, the engine here. The throttle body is about that big. You may have seen, me and Faye were holding it, and it's about that big of a throttle body. It's a big block Chevy that we built. The first engine actually built for the system. There's about 3 engines out there, 4 engines out there running this system. They're just took the nitrous off and put this system on it. This engine that we built actually has a cam specially ground for compressed air. A lot of things I use you cannot get a long enough connecting rod. It's a specific engine that I built as a test bed for the compressed air supercharged project. I could have built a 632. We built 632s before. We built a smaller cubic inch motor for brute power. The block can only handle about 2,000 horsepower. So we're going to take it up to there, and then we're going to try to split the block in half. After that, we'll probably build another block that can handle more than that, but we don't know if the car can handle that. It's a brand new car, 67 Camaro, 68 Camaro, white. Go watch the videos. The first 3 videos you watch, I think the second video, he hit the trans brake or hit something, and you can hear it take off and then take off. Nothing wrong with the engine. He touched the trans brake on that one. Also had the wrong slicks. He put a new set of slicks on the car, and they weren't the right compound or the right side load, and it's hard to get the power down to the ground. So those 2 videos, I think we had up to maybe 1.5, maybe 3 pounds of air at that point. The last video you watch, took it up to 7 pounds of air. It was past 12 o'clock in the morning, and the bottles ran out because it didn't properly fill them. It was the last moment. Let's try to do one more. Let's crank up the air. So the last second, 1.20 second was all engine. And we have not gone from A to B yet under full power. We ran 459 in the eighth, 155 miles an hour just in testing. So now what is compressed air supercharging? Supercharging is a way to pack air into a cylinder. So we have a turbocharger. Let's forget that. We have a blower first. We have a blower. It's a Roots type blower, 671. It runs off a belt, turns, pumps air into the engine. Then there's all different types of blowers now. We have a Paxton. They're mounting them off the front of the crank. All of those are basically the Roots type or a hybrid turbo and a Roots type combined. What does that mean? A Roots type takes a belt. It's a mechanically driven supercharger. A turbocharger takes your exhaust gas to spin an impeller to make boost. So a Roots type, which making a lot of horsepower, takes half of that horsepower to turn the blower. A turbocharger, it's all free. It's out the exhaust pipe, spinning a turbine, that spins a shaft, that spins another turbine, which pumps air into the motor. Okay? Even better than a Roots is a turbocharger. Now they have a hybrid. It's cut in half. The front half is turbo. The back half is a shaft going to a pulley, and they'll go to the front of the crank or off a belt like a Paxton. And you have kind of the best of both worlds. You have when it's a belt driven, it's instantaneous. When it's a turbo, you have turbo lag. You had turbo lag. Turbo lag is kind of pretty much, we don't have that anymore. But those were the issues there. Now we have a compressed air supercharger. Okay, we have two scuba bottles, carbon fiber scuba bottles. Also the same thing that a fireman would have in the back of his suit when he goes into a burning house, a building. So it's a bottle with compressed air in the bottle. That's all there is. There's nothing. It's not gas or a bottle that you have at a welding supply shop. Not that at all. What you have is air. You have a scuba filling station like you would have in Florida or anywhere where there's offshore, they're going scuba diving. That same filling station is what's filling these bottles up. Also, the same filling station that's in an EMS station. So if you go to a fire station where they have those bottles that they got to go in to breathe, they have the same filling station. So that bottle that you have in the back, which is just air, nothing else. It's not pure oxygen. Nope, it's just air. We have a dryer to dry the air to get some of the moisture out of it. And that's it. So we have two of those bottles in the trunk. How nice is that? So the owner of NOS is the one that is actually doing this. So when he sold NOS, he's been working on this project for 5 years. Some of the dyno development work, most of the dyno development work was done on the dyno that we had before we bought the dyno. There's videos of it, and it's our dyno room, but it wasn't ours at the time. So we have two bottles in the trunk, and then right at the front of the engine, side of the engine, left of the engine, you can put it anywhere. We have it in the front of the engine because we're doing the first, it's even a prototype dual system on our big block. So we have a line of air going to the front, and then we have a solenoid up there, special design solenoid that's not going to freeze, and then we have a valve in the front. Okay, so it's like a throttle body in front of a throttle body. And what happens is when you hit that button, air goes in. When air gets to that chamber, it opens up a valve and shuts the front of the air in. So now air cannot come in the front of the valve, which has like a K&N filter in front. We just have a front scoop. And air's going in and you're naturally aspirated. You know what naturally aspirated is? Naturally aspirated, just getting air on its own. And when you hit that button, that valve shuts and all this compressed air goes into your engine. So you're running off these two bottles of compressed air. Okay, this is, we've gotten temperatures lower than 48 degrees below zero. But I'm gonna say the average about 30 degrees below zero. Like I said, it's way beyond that. We had, not we, but they had to develop special valves to not freeze. And that was a part of it. It took 5 years to get this system developed where it could be used and not freeze up. A good idea, but actually putting it down and making it work took a little bit, you know, it was a little bit different. All that being said, it's controlled by a computer. You don't have a button that you press. You could, if you wanted to do that and wanted to run it just like nitrous, you have to inject a lot more fuel in the motor, just like nitrous. But nitrous is a chemical reaction that makes oxygen, and this is just push the button and so it's controlled by a computer. We can control the amount of air going in the cylinder in first gear, second gear, third gear, anywhere we want. We can take a shift point and divide it up, and we can add 1 pound of air, 2 pounds. We can take a pound off. We can add all throughout the whole trip down the track. We can control the air. All right. So what does that allow us to do? On a street outlaw car, have y'all seen these street outlaw cars? You've seen the turbo cars. What happens when a turbo car pulls up to the line? It pulls up to the line, and then you start to rev it up. You push the trans brake. When you push the trans brake, it actually puts it in first gear and in reverse at the same time. Locks the car. It can't move. And then you start giving it gas, and you see those cars, and flames are flying out of the pipes. Why? Because you have the wastegates. You're trying to spool the turbos up to get rid of the turbo lag. So I want to spool these turbos up. I want to get them going, until I start seeing 30 pounds of boost on my gauge. And then you start shaking and moving forward while the transmission is screaming to God for help because it's burning up. So you have a little window to pull up there and get going, or you're gonna burn your tranny up. If you don't burn your tranny up, the tranny temperature rising changes the reaction time of the transmission. So you're already messing with the trans shifting points. Well, the nitrous guys, they're in their car eating a sandwich, they're sandbag, they're eating the sandwich, putting their strap on and hitting that nitrous, blowing air up, blowing out the nitrous, blowing it out there. One hit, you purge your system. Come on, 2 hits, if you're purging into your solenoids, you've gotten your solenoids cold. All the other hits are just there to burn up your tranny because they're racing a turbo guy. So, and they roll up a little bit, and when the guy's getting mad, hit a couple more times. So what they're doing, the turbo guys have to store energy in these turbos. It's like a cat in a bag just pissed off trying to get out. It's just all this energy stored up there in the line, and their car is shaking just terribly while the nitro guy pulls up, and then he revs it up, and then they both take off, and then there's the race. Okay, so there's your problem with the nitrous guys and the turbo guys. Nitrous guy's gonna put a pair of head gaskets on every 3 runs, right? So his neat thing about, my trannies last longer or whatever, nitrous shocks things and breaks dry shafts, rear ends, or if it doesn't break the dry shaft of the rear end because you got a dry shaft that's this big and you got the rear end that's made off of a Caterpillar, well, it's gonna break the tires loose. So there's the problem, the dilemma that nitrous guys have. Once the cylinder temperature spikes, you ain't gonna hold the head gasket. That's why an MLS gasket has really been a godsend to boosted engines. The turbo guys are storing all that energy, boom, it takes off. Now they go. Did you know that you got 3,000 horsepower, 4,000 horsepower? When you see the flames going out the pipes, they're not using it. They have to let that all go out. They have traction control on the car. They have electronics on the car. Whenever they sense, the computer senses that it's going to the ground, they close the wastegates and the car moves faster. When the RPM of the engine and the traction, the tire, and the computer senses that their tires are breaking loose, it opens up the wastegates really fast and blow it out the pipe. So generally when you get down the track and you're getting faster and faster, the wastegates start closing and you'll see the flame and the car gets really fast. So you're making way more power than you need, but you gotta do it. You gotta do it, you gotta store it, you gotta do it, you gotta launch. All that is just terrible on parts. All right, here comes our Camaro and it pulls up to the line. He's idling. His heart rate is, I don't know, he may be on YouTube checking out what's going on because there is no stress. The motor's idling. We have all that energy stored in the bottles. We don't have to use our engine to make that energy. That energy was made in the air compressor at the trailer. So when we pull up, that energy is there, but the engine is idling, just basically. Watch the car, it's like a naturally aspirated car. It's real easy to stage, it's real easy to launch. You don't need a buttload of power when you're launching. If you can build a pretty good motor naturally aspirated, you can make enough power to launch. So when we launch, the computer already knows that we're releasing and we're launching. We don't even give it any air. There's no need to give it any air. Also, y'all enjoying this, or I'm just going on because Faye's not here to stop me. Shop Mom's just, letting me go on. I don't know if I'm getting crazy or not.
I'm busy giving away your rags.
Busy giving away some rags. All right, that'll work. That works for me. So there, I'm even losing. Okay, so we're ready to launch. So we're not storing all that energy. We can control it as we go. Here's the benefit. Another benefit of compressed air supercharging is at 30 degrees below zero. I'm going to use that number. Like I said, we've recorded 48 degrees below zero. We're going to use 30 degrees below zero. You know how dense that air is? Okay. Do we need an intercooler? No. We just took off all this weight off the front of the cars. We took 2 turbos off the front of the car. We took the intercooler off the front of the car. We took all that off the front of the car. It is an intercooler. It's 30 degrees below zero. So at 30 degrees below zero, you're pulling timing because you can't handle it. You can't handle the truth. We're giving it timing. At 30 degrees below zero, we don't have to detune the motor and pull timing out because of detonation. At 30 degrees below zero, you don't need to run. There's all different ways you can tune your motor. You can tune it and run on 101 octane fuel. At 30 degrees below zero, you're not going to have detonation. Now, if you want to run, so we're running, all our testing is being done on real fuel. You can run, you know why they run E85? They run E85 because of the amount of heat that it extracts from the cylinders and the intake manifold. It's real cold and dense. E85 alcohol is real cold and dense, and it helps you with detonation. So you can run 13-to-1 compression, 22-to-1 compression. You can run a lot of boost. What's the problem is if you know that alcohol is almost 2-to-1. So you got to put a bigger fuel tank in your system, dual fuel pump. You're pumping a lot of fuel because you're going to need twice the amount of alcohol for fuel to get the same energy out of it. So it pumps a lot more energy, a lot less energy in that. So it takes a lot more fuel. So with that much more fuel, also alcohol seems to tear up fuel pumps, fuel lines. Alcohol is just really, really tough. After you're done, you should pull all the alcohol out of your engine, flush it out. But that's all being said, we're going to get back to the compressed air. It's just air. It's at 30 degrees below zero. We don't remove timing from the engine. We add timing. We've given it 50 degrees of timing. It's like, give me more. So instead of detuning a motor and doing all these bad things to the motor, we can build a true engine, making 850, 900, 1,000 horsepower motor, and naturally aspirated, no power adders, and then we can add compressed air as we need it. So we can launch all naturally aspirated. Look at the car, it's launching naturally aspirated. Here's another thing. 1 pound of boost is equal to 2 pounds of boost. Well, 1 pound of air is equal to 2 pounds of boost. So if 1 pound of air out of my compressed air scuba bottles is equal to 2 pounds of boost from a turbo or a blower. Okay, what does that mean? That 5 pounds of air out of our system is equal to 10 pounds of boost. So all you guys that are running 30 pounds of boost, I can run 15 pounds of air and make the same amount of power that your 30 pounds of boost is making. Why? Because it's 30 degrees below zero. So all that boost that you're making, you're also making heat. So you're going to have to run it through an intercooler. You're going to have to cool it down. You can only get it so cold. Here, it's chilled beyond belief. So that's why 1 pound equals 2 pounds of boost. So we don't have to give it a lot. Can we give it 30 pounds of air? Oh my God, that'd be equivalent to 60 pounds of boost. We've never done that. So far, go watch the last video.
We haven't done it yet.
Haven't done it yet because the block can only hold 2,000 horsepower, and we're almost exceeding some of that, already getting close at 7 pounds. So I think we've run a max of 7.5 pounds. We ran out of air because it was late. The track was getting a little humid. Had to go back out there and do one more. Didn't have to. Nobody has to. And it was pull up and just fill the bottles really quick. So it was a half fill, not really quite full filled, and it didn't get down the 8th mile. We took it up to 7.5 pounds of boost. So the last second 20 was all motor. and it ran those times. We have yet to go A to B under full air. We have yet to do that. We're working on, now it's already been at 2 different tracks. We want to rent the track in San Antonio or go to Houston. So our next test session needs to be on a really, really, really good prep track. But that's where we're at now. It's not that the system works. Go watch the video. When you leave here, go to my Instagram and go watch those 3 videos. The last video, you can even hear it leaving. It sounds like it's just leaving on air. This thing is just amazing. And it's just compressed air. All right. Does that answer the compressed air question?
Yeah, and Professor GT says alcohol is a better solvent than it is a fuel. He says it tears fuel systems up unless they're made specifically for alcohol use. Exactly.
There's always the give and take. Nothing's for free. And might as well learn that now. If I got any youngsters in the room, nothing is for free. And if you got it for free, then you're probably going to get locked up. But we don't need to go there. We don't need to be there, right, Jim? We don't need to go there. So so nothing's for free. There's always a give and take. Alcohol. The reason that it's really taken off so well is because of its cooling factor. The amount of energy, the BTUs that can pull and cool off. So it's really, really cool stuff down. Like I said, but you got to do double of the alcohol because it doesn't have the energy that gasoline has in it. So you're going to be pumping twice the amount. You're going to have 2 55-gallon drums in your trailer. All right, what else do we have? The electronics are really important on the compressed air. You can have a button just like nitrous, and that's fine. We have tons of data on the car.
Tom also reminds people that the video is on the Sunrock Facebook page if they're not on Instagram.
If you're not on Instagram, go to Facebook to the Sunrock software. That's our the company that we have. Sunrock Technologies is our company, and that's Sunrock Technologies. And what we're doing on the video is on there. If you want to go find out what get up to date on the Smoky Unit project, what's happening with it, with the car, with the camshaft, and all the stuff that we're doing, that's the place to go, is Sunrock Technologies. That's also where you can go watch the video. Like I said, if you don't have Instagram, go watch Sunrock Technologies. Leave a little comment there, tell Tom or me that you were there. We'd appreciate it. But that's where you can go get the up-to-date stuff that's happening with the hot vapor engine. Like I said, we are doing some updates on the compressed air there as well. And also any of the development of the stuff that we're developing in the hot vapor project. What we are doing is we're taking what Smokey did and using that as our foundation. And we're developing stuff that he wouldn't do, wasn't necessary. So I'm not, ragging on Smokey. There wasn't any need for it. But the only way, or the proper way to do it now would be with fuel injection. So the fuel injection that we're developing, that's going to be ours, and we'll sell that. We're not going to sell Smokey stuff that he let the patents expire. So that's free. Go out there and anything that we can put out there. Like I said, that's facts. And as soon as I know them, we put that out there. Any of the development stuff that we're doing, well, we're going to be a little private on that until we get the patents on our stuff. And there is several different things that we are developing for a modern hot vapor engine. So our modern hot vapor engine will have...
Interrupt because Tom says in Facebook, search for the Phoenix Engine Sunrock.
So when you go to
there's a lot of Smoky stuff on that page as well.
So did you hear Shop Mom? It's the Phoenix Engine updates on Sunrock Technologies.
Sunrock.
All right, you might want to type that in there. Tom already did. So Tom has put I don't know if he put a link or just put the proper way to look it up.
Proper way to search for it, and Scott finally made it. He says he's late, but as I said,
better late than never.
That's what he said. Better late than never, and I said, and better never late.
And better never late. We got 2 minutes left. So anyway,
we're gonna wrap up, and we're gonna thank everybody for stopping by. This is kind of fun. It is not the same without Faye.
It's not. I'm having issues. Oh, I see. Fungo Sport. Thank you.
That's a cool high.
I'm just drinking water, but now after that, I may grab me a beer. After that, we may have a beer. Thank you. So I hope that helped a little bit. Like I said, it's not the same without Faye, but we're doing all right. And I just wanted to, Shopmom wanted me to come on and just because we had several questions that I did answer. I think maybe a little too much answer some questions.
And if y'all would like to do this again, remember you can always send your questions to therealshopmom@gmail.com. And if Danny gets enough interest, I'm sure I could prod him to put his shy little self in front of the camera again.
And sometimes I just like, I don't necessarily, I would say I don't need to be on here. It's not like that. But YouTube, if you don't put out a video, you know, they just, you haven't put out a video once a week or something. And I want you to just go on live and answer questions. So we did that. If y'all like that and that's what you want to see, give us some comments about what time is this is the wrong time, the right time. You like this, you don't like this. Once again, hit the like and subscribe button. Maybe it's up there, maybe it's over there, maybe it's down there.
Says you're a handsome devil.
Oh, well then, you know, I'll drink to that. I'm drinking water, but I'll
drink to everything.
Okay, so.
Okay, folks, it's been a lot of fun. Thanks everybody for being here.
Exactly 1 hour. Hey.
Yeah, exactly 1 hour. Remember, peace and assembly grease.
Peace and assembly grease, everybody. Thank you for, you know, making our day. Happy Friday the 13th. Be safe out there.
And mask up, people.
Mask up. You heard? You're a shop mom. Don't
Danny's
get shop
mom
mom
has COVID right now. Danny's
So-
mom and his stepdad both have COVID.
As we're leaving, we'll say prayers for my mom and stepdad who have COVID right now. Everybody mask up. I don't want to get into anything. Just take care of yourselves.
Be safe.
Because we want to see you next time. Don't forget, August 27th, put in your videos and stuff. When you a fan, I'm out of here. I'm your biggest fan right here. I don't know what the button to turn off this thing is, but I am your biggest fan.